A police officer and 3 civilians dead tonight after a horrific day in Jersey City. 2 shooters also dead. It all started around 12:30 in the afternoon when word came of an active shooter in the Greenville neighborhood. Our Monica Guy was there as shots were fired. She takes it from here.
Detective Joseph Seals has been identified as the Jersey City police officer fatally shot in that shootout with suspects.
Damn!
Bursts of gunfire could be heard throughout the afternoon as law enforcement responded to the J.C. Kosher Supermarket on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. The situation started around noon at Bayview Cemetery. 2 suspects shot a Jersey City police officer in the shoulder before fleeing on foot to the market. That's when a gunfight ensued and Detective Seals was killed. A massive response from law enforcement resulted. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the FBI, the NYPD, along with tactical units, were all on the scene for several hours. Rabbi Samuel Friedler is familiar with the kosher market where the mayhem took place.
The police department, the fire department is protecting us and the community. And unfortunately today when I came to see my buildings, I was confronted with the fact that a mishap took place in the Jewish grocery store here in Greenville.
A perimeter around the scene was enlarged several times for the public safety, and streets throughout the city were shut down throughout the day.
The investigation will take weeks, maybe months. The crime scene is very extensive and is at 3 locations at least.
A father of 5, Detective Seals worked in the ceasefire division that worked on taking guns off of the streets in Jersey City. Also identified is Officer Mariela Fernandez and Ray Sanchez. Police say they were also injured during the gunfight. Reporting for Chasing News from Jersey City, I'm Monica Guy.
Thanks, Monica. As Monica mentioned, the fallen police officer is Jersey City Detective Joseph Seals. Detective Seals was a husband and a father of 5 children, including a newborn baby. He served on the Jersey City force since 2006. Fellow officers say Detective Seals was always there for them, a man with a great sense of humor, someone who was loved and respected by all. Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop called Seals a great cop and said he was promoted to detective in 2017 because Seals, quote, probably removed more guns from the street than anyone. As the chaos unfolded, area schools were put on lockdown. As you can imagine, that created frightening moments for kids and their parents. Nate Rogers brings us that part of the story.
Bill, complete mayhem today as Jersey City parents waited for their children to be released from school. Early this afternoon, as reports of the active shooter began to spread, some 30,000 students at all Jersey City schools were put on lockdown.
I feel like they did a horrible job with communication.
Parents at PS 15 here along Stegman Street, about a quarter mile away, say they received a robocall from the school that students would be released at 4:15, but that didn't happen.
It's been going on for almost 4 hours now. No one wants to have their kids. I don't even want to be outside.
Okay, I have a 5-year-old and she's probably worried. She's wondering where mommy is. She's probably wondering where daddy is.
9-year-old Yanisi says during the lockdown, all she could do was think about her mom and her baby brother.
It was very scary. We all started crying because we didn't know what was going to happen. All of us were begging for our lives to go home, and we just started crying a lot. I was thinking I just wanted to go home, and I wanted to see my baby brother, and I wanted to see my mom, and I wanted to hug them. And I was really scared, so I didn't know what to do.
Students at schools closest to the cemetery were temporarily housed in the school basement. Once police gave the all clear, students here at PS 15 were released at 5 p.m.
You know, I'm already a mother that lost a child to gun violence. This is really scary for any family.
Now, it's unclear where the miscommunication came from involving the school district and the police department in terms of releasing the students, but fortunately all of the students were accounted for and are now home safe. In Jersey City, I'm Nate Rogers for Chasing News.
Thank you, Nate. Right now, I want to bring in former FBI Special Agent and former Navy SEAL, a friend of the show, Jonathan Gilliam, to give us his take on this terrible, terrible situation. Jonathan, welcome back. How are you?
Hey, it's good to be with you. Unfortunately, with these circumstances so close to home, though, it's not
So
good.
let's break it down. I mean, you're an expert in law enforcement and counterterrorism. What was your take on how this unfolded today?
Chaos. And you know, this bill, this seems to be something that is across the nation like a virus in law enforcement. Now, I'm not saying that this situation wasn't violent and fluid, because it was. But here's the problem that we need to take away from this, even though the situation is still kind of unclear, is the responses that are happening to this. I'm watching the tactical responses, and politics and executives and law enforcement across the board have stopped training their troops. That's what these people are in this situation. Urban conflict, urban warfare, and they're not being trained for this, and it's clear. And what happens? People die, cops get shot, civilians get shot, and that's what I was watching as I was seeing this. I was profoundly shocked by the tactics.
What would be one thing you could see that would be changed in their training as they approach a situation like this?
Look at the military. Look at special forces. Everybody thinks that special forces are like these crazed killers, but I'm telling you, we do things sharper, faster, and more efficient than anyone. So why wouldn't law enforcement take these skills? All these things that we know, they're not being used clearly in law enforcement. And I'm not trying to be an armchair quarterback here. I'm saying this stuff because I don't want more cops dead, and I don't want civilians dying because the tactics are less advanced than the bad guys.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate your perspective as always.
You got it, my friend.
So here are the headlines on the shootings in Jersey City. The incident reportedly started with Detective SEALs pulling over a suspected stolen vehicle. Gunfire erupted in the Greenville neighborhood, and in the end, Detective SEALs and 3 civilians were killed. 2 other officers were injured. Police ultimately shot and killed the 2 shooters. Schools in the area were put on lockdown throughout the afternoon, and tonight the investigation is just getting started. In my Daily Point later in the show, a tribute to the fallen detective and why it is so important to respect and support law enforcement.